Yeah. Okay. Well, we're back
Sorry,
live here.
guys.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think one of us,
I think
I
we
don't know if it
lost
was our.
everybody.
Yeah, that's okay. They'll come back in. They should come back in a
Man, right in
minute
the
here.
middle of my turkey story.
Ah, I know. All right, let's see if we get some people back in here.
There's
I'm
the
just looking.
notification.
Okay, good, good. Hopefully,
Sorry,
okay, we're
guys.
back. Yep.
Phil,
First is
where did
back.
I did you lose me before I got to the turkey story?
No, I could hear and see you.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost like I was just did I freeze completely?
yeah, you froze on my end.
Oh, weird. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, sorry guys. You have to remember I live in the mountains, so my internet is horrible here.
Yeah,
I need to go.
maybe it might have been your network or something that did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
well. Okay.
I have AT&T, and ever since the fire last year, our internet and our phone service has been horrible. I
I
don't
never
know if the
even thought
tower got
about
burned
that.
up or what, but we had a big fire right here,
Man,
and
I never even thought about that. Yeah. Well, you know what I might have to do is take both of these videos and download them and paste them together. So they'll be live tonight, but I'll probably have to put them both on like private and then download the videos and then I'll republish this live video, but I'll just paste the two together. That way it's coherent.
right.
Yeah.
Well, sorry
But
guys, but we're
no,
back.
you're good. You're good. If you wanted to hear the story, the turkey story, you'll have to watch the first live video
Yeah, yeah, the
tonight.
turkey story,
But
man.
it'll be back on. Don't worry.
If you missed that, you guys, this turkey saw his own reflection in my car and tore my car completely apart with his claws and beak.
Oh, right after you polished it and everything, and like did all this work to it, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Used to get so many comments on it.
that is crazy. Oh well. Well, we already heard some crazy stories from you. We can continue with that in just a moment. We were
Yeah,
going to
don't get
talk.
me talking about American Airlines and being a flight attendant, man.
Oh,
There's some crazy stories there, but this is
I'm
a
sure you got
detailing
stories.
podcast. It's
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we want to keep it rated PG.
yeah. That's right. And I want to take a minute and just thank everybody in the comments here. We got
Yeah.
Keith, we got First from Puerto Rico, and Average Detail was in Peacock Base. We got Details Official in here. Average Detail, there you are. So yeah, we had a bunch of
Hey
people
guys.
in the other one. We had almost like 20 people in there, and then it went off. So sorry
Yeah, I
about
went
that.
right in the middle of the turkey story.
Yeah, but that's okay. You will hear it again. You will hear the turkey story. You'll hear the whole thing. I will get both of these videos edited together,
Yeah.
and then they'll
There's
be able to watch the whole
details
thing.
is there. Hey guys, I don't know, Phil. They're somewhere around near me. I've never met him in person, but
Oh, cool.
I want to tell Joel. Tell Sal I want to watch him do the no look.
Nice.
They'll know what that means. He was
That's
talking
funny.
about using FSE in a door jam, and he said something funny. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going no look."
Nice. Nice. Oh yeah, average detailer. So um in the first video when we went live, he told his story how he got started. So
Yeah,
you'll be able to watch that again. Um but
sorry.
what I did want to talk about was like your challenges in the small town because you're in a small town with like 2,000 population and we were talking a little bit before the podcast about how your customer service, your services, like everything has to be top notch because in such a small town, people talk, so you need to have, like, a good reputation, and
Yes.
that will really, um I think a lot of other detailers in small towns and villages and areas in the US and around the world could really benefit from, like, some of your experience and struggles
Okay.
in dealing with, like, small town detailing. Because honestly, I don't know if I would be able to do it in the small town where I came from, like, up in Whitehall, New York, and Rutland, Vermont, like, 2 towns right next to each other on the border. They're such dead towns. They're larger population, but they're such dead towns that I don't think I'd be able to even start this business. I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest. I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years, but if I was to move up there, I'm like, how am I gonna do this in such a rural area that has, like, winter 8 months out of the year? It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
what were some of the struggles that you had to deal with and maybe you're still dealing with?
Well, I went from, you have to think, I had full blown benefits, and I mean good benefits. I'd go to the doctor and they'd beg me to come back.
Man.
$68 an hour, a job that had no labor. I sat on a jump seat reading magazines and watching Netflix, answer a call light every couple hours, to losing that job
Mm.
because of a base closure when American Airlines closed SFO, to go to full-time detailing. There's this huge fear and worry that I constantly deal with. And I think for me, and I don't want to be religious or whatever, because I'm so not. When I go to church, I'm afraid the walls are going to fall down on me. But it's a faith thing for me, and I
Mhm.
do pray. I ask God to help me and lead me and guide me, because the demographic here is so different that I could have a good idea, but if it's not a God idea, it's not going to work, Phil. And I don't
Yeah,
know if that
I get
makes
that.
sense to you
Oh,
guys, what
no,
I'm
I get
trying
that.
to do,
I get
but
that.
yeah, and I don't want to, I'm sorry if I don't mean to be dogmatic or anything like that, but
Mm.
that's just how I am personally. And good ideas fail, God ideas stick. And I'm
Mhm.
really struggling still to find that God idea when it comes to maintenance plans
Yeah.
for how I operate. I've had good ideas and I've tried them, and I've had, talk to this person, talk to that person, and try to incorporate their influence into my business, and it just hasn't worked. And
Mm.
what works for me is doing full details only, and offering them quarterly maintenance, and only a few even chew on that. So it's
Yeah.
been really hard. So I don't know if you want me to go into more detail about that, but I will. I'll just slow down and explain that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought about, everyone said, well, you need to build maintenance. You need to build maintenance. How to get you through the slow times. You'll have your maintenance. So I thought, yeah, this is a good idea. You know.
Mhm.
So I tried in Copperopolis here on Lake Tulloch what would work. So the demographic of our town is, we have people that live here full time. We have the part-time Bay Area people that have lake houses.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's part-timers and there's full-timers, and not everybody is here all at once. And so I had to come up with. I tried to do my business like a membership, like
Mm.
joining a country club. Have me fully detail this car, and then I can put you on a monthly or a quarterly at a discounted rate.
Mhm.
So, and it just didn't take. It didn't. There wasn't enough feedback. I was like, why aren't they chewing on this? This is a good thing, and I
Mm.
think a lot of times, and I spend a lot of energy educating them. Like, yeah, $60-$80 a month. That's a lot. I could just go to the gas station, and I'm like, whoa, wait. I'm quit that.
That's
Mister
not the
Tunnel
same.
Washing does not
That's
clean in your
not
car.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they literally, and so what's been working is they have me detail their car like twice a year, and in the meantime, they go to the tunnel wash, at the gas station. It's like, oh
Yep,
my God. So I
yep.
spend a lot of, I constantly doing disasters. They're disasters.
Mhm.
And the word around town is, oh yeah, Andy's good, but he's expensive. So I have kind of poop canned the monthly thing, the
Mhm.
monthly hand wash thing. And I'm
Yeah.
still, if I come out and detail your car, and it's originally 300 to 400 bucks, just for a normal mobile detail, full detail, I will come back and do the same thing within 90 days for 50% of that. So anywhere from 149 to 189, depending
Hmm.
on the size of the vehicle and that original cost. Now you've got it detailed, you're in the country club. Now let's keep that thing looking good, you know. Let's
Yeah.
try to keep the Calaveras County mountains off of it. You spent a lot of money with me. Let's keep it looking good and stay on the quarterly plan. And only maybe 20% of my customers are chewing on it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
that's why I say I think it was, a good idea. Maybe it wasn't a god idea. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to find that.
Yeah. Oh,
Still
no.
trying to find that works. So did you lose me?
It cut out for, like, a second. It just cut out for, like, a second, but I got what you said. You're still trying to find what works for you. Oh, I just cut out your video. Sorry, guys. Just some technical difficulties. There we go.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Can you hear me? Uh-oh. He might have to try connect again, guys. Give it a sec. He is in an area where his internet isn't very good, so let's give him a couple of seconds and hopefully he'll be back. Can you guys still hear me? Drop a comment or drop a comment here and make sure.
My customer calling and I'm on my iPhone and
Oh, that's what happened. It was your customer calling.
it was somebody calling. So sorry,
Ah. Okay. Ah, no worries.
my bad.
No worries. All right, cool. We got you back. Yeah,
So
drop a comment and make sure everybody can that you guys can hear us.
yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
average.
cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, but
and you know what? It is all referral based, Joe.
mm,
Because I'll tell you what, and that's good. Let's lead right back into that because Phil and I
yeah,
wanted to talk about that too.
yeah,
Um, in this town, you do one bad job, you're done. I mean, people talk, and I
yep,
saw that from before I started detailing here in a small rural town. I saw it with other businesses. I saw restaurants, coffee shops go completely out of business because they pissed off one person. One.
yeah,
That's all it took. And
exactly.
so I was very coming into this. I had already knew that hey, when I show up the first time, I'm branded, I'm looking sharp, looking professional,
Yep,
and it's all about customer service. And I'm more and more I'm finding out doesn't it's all about relationships.
yeah.
A lot of times
Oh,
it's not even about the kind of work you're doing. It's like
that's very true. Because
let
once
your customer. I had to learn. Let your customer talk to you. Let them talk.
yeah,
Talk about their grandkids. Talk about
yep,
they went on vacation. Ask them what'd you do. Where'd you go? Oh, a cruise. Cool. Tell me about the cruise. That
yeah,
stuff is so much more important than what kind of dressing you put on the tires.
yep. If
you
you build
know?
a relationship, like you said, you build a relationship with them, then you'll get to know them. I mean, you don't have to be like buddy buddy, best friends type of thing,
Right.
but it's a cordial business, professional relationship that you have with them. And once you have that for a few years, I mean, to be honest, all of us may miss a little something now and then, but that can be looked over by a customer that you have a good relationship with. Instead of someone who's brand new and you miss something and they're like, I'm never going back type of thing. It's almost like, it's all or nothing with some of those customers that you don't know. Um,
Right.
but if
And
you
I,
got
I
that
did have an
relationship with them,
experience with one of my very first customers. She said I missed an area, like you just said.
yep, yep.
And it was a bad pet hair job. Well, I
Mm.
didn't know one of those seats went a certain way, and right on the edge of the seat, there was pet
Oh,
hair there.
yep,
And I had told her, if I miss anything, if there's anything you're unhappy with, please call me, let me know. She
yep.
called, let me know. I said, you know what? I'm on a detail. Can you just swing by? Take me 20 minutes and I'll fix it. I'm so sorry. She did. She came by. I got the lily brush out there and fixed it up, hit it with the vacuum. You're good to go. Yeah, looks great. Oh, thank you very much. And I
Nice.
thought she was totally cool. Next thing you know, she's blasting me on next door. And I was
Oh,
like,
not nice.
what? So, and then she even And you know what? Thank goodness I never responded. I just was like, pray for her,
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
And her wife passed away and all this. She was going through some
Just not in a
stuff.
good place.
Yeah, I just let it go. Lo and
Mhm.
behold, she went and tried another detailer, and she's on my schedule this week for another maintenance. And
Really?
I redid her white T-bird about 2 months ago, and I got her back. And
Hmm.
she had to learn. She went to someone else, even and everything, and figured out. Oh no, let's have Andy do it.
It wasn't you, it
So,
was me type of thing.
yeah, and so that's going around town. That's the buzz
Yeah.
around town. Oh, Andy's good, but he's expensive. And
Mhm.
some people
Mhm.
just aren't willing to. I'm sorry, but I think 150 for an interior, 150 for an exterior, starting is dirt cheap.
That's cheap. Oh, yeah.
Dirt cheap, dude.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people in this town that think that's astronomical. Like
Wow.
what? And pretty much they're just jealous you're going to make $300 in one day, and they don't make that at work. They're
Yeah.
not even thinking about the detail or anything. They're just, it's like,
They're not thinking about the tiny business like us that in some ways, percentage-wise, pays more in taxes and in supplies and expenses and all of that stuff and all the actual profit is not always that great. It's not always that great, especially for those types of details that are like gross disaster details that you spend a lot of time and it's backbreaking work, like serious labor intensive work. But they're not seeing that. They just think, oh, it's just washing and vacuuming a car.
right,
It's like
right,
my kids, teenagers do that. I'm like, no.
right.
I mean, they
And,
can, but
and
not like detailers.
recently here, I did see a couple teenagers. Uh, I tried to hire one of them some time back, and that
Mm.
didn't work out. I've seen that they are now posting that they'll come detail your car for $75 to $150.
Oh
I-
boy.
And it's just pretty much what I was doing back at the condos in '89. It's just
Yeah.
a fancy VIP hand wash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I so these customers that come my way and I give them estimates, they think I'm too high. I'll say, well, you can call the kids. They'll come out and just do a clean them up job. Excuse
Yeah.
me. But what I've had to do, Phil, is that is very key for me. Is instead of, and that's why I don't use a booking app. You can't. I don't have a website. It's old school. Like you call
Yeah.
me, we talk. I'm coming over. Let's check it out.
Yep.
you know there's the and once I get there, and that is key, because when I get there, what can I do? I roll up. They see the mobile setup.
Mhm.
Now I'm getting out of clay. Now I'm getting out of an instant detailer. I'm doing a test spot. What is that? Oh, well, that's fallout. And to start to educate my customer on real detailing and
Yeah.
why it costs what it does, you know. So
Exactly.
and then opening the doors and showing, well, you see how this makeup is in here and there, and that lotion's on the vinyl and the plastic. I'm gonna have to steam that area, then recondition and da 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 da. Look how dry, and explain and educate. And I like doing that, and when I'm able to do that, I land that customer, and they're solid, they're with me, they're not going
Yeah.
anywhere, they're really
Yeah.
not.
That's
And
awesome. You
that
you
that has
become
been the buzz around town. That
that's great. That's your reputation,
Right,
is you're like the expert in that area. You're the expert detailer in that area. And you can actually teach them and show them like right on the spot,
right
and
on.
it's nice that like some of the kids and teenagers can wash cars and do stuff like that, but it's that's not a long-term thing, because I used to think like, oh, now I'm going to be getting undercut. I'm like, maybe for a few weeks, maybe a few months at most, but they're going to be like, yeah, we can't keep this up. This isn't like a real business. It's just like a quick little thing that they do and then they're quickly gone.
Yeah, well, Phil,
And
they're
yeah.
17.
Yeah, exactly.
When I called the hire, they said Haley, and I thought, oh, because I lost my girl helper that looked great on camera. I thought, I wonder if she could speak and looks good on camera. So I called the Haley, right? She
Yep.
had gave the phone to her boyfriend, you know, and
Yeah.
oh, my girlfriend wants me to get a job. I was like, oh,
Exactly.
I thought it
Yeah.
was a female looking for a job, and I wanted to, I don't mean to sound shallow or whatever, but I wanted a female for my social presence. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Someone that could speak, articulate, talk about a job, talk about products,
Yep.
etc. So that I could
Exactly.
grow my socials. People look at me. People don't want to look at me. You know, I'm an old guy, man.
They want attractive women. That's what will sell on YouTube and social media, unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but that is something that will sell on social media, are attractive women. But yeah, so
Yeah.
us guys were like, we try our best, but yeah.
Dos Segundos. I'm in Copperopolis, California, buddy. Sorry I missed that.
Oh wow, if someone near him does $60 interior and exterior
Yeah.
without a water tank, I mean, there are some areas that still people can make money like that. If you're in an area where you can do that, then more power to them, But man, $60. It's like you're already spending unless they're not using good stuff, and it's just all cheap stuff. You're
Yeah, but even then,
even then you're not making any profit for all those hours. You're like getting $5 an hour at the end of
yeah,
it all.
they'll do it. They'll do it as long as the product lasts. As soon as they have to
Yeah,
recop
I'm
their
out.
product, they're done.
I'm out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've been there. I mean, I used to do $25 car washes and full vacuums on the interior. It would take us like an hour plus, with 2 of us.
yeah,
So we were making less than $10 an hour at the end of the day, Or maybe we were making like $5 an hour at that point with all the chemicals and everything, after that.
yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah. So I mean
Well,
that's
that's like me in '89. I mean, in
yeah.
1989 when that started, I went around the condo with the little wagon, $15 a pop. But I lived at home. I
Yeah.
didn't have bills, and
But that was late
you know,
'90s. I mean, that was late '80s, early '90s, like,
yeah,
that for a little kid was, like, good money, Like, that was good money. I wish I'd started when I was younger, I would have had an awesome business if I had started when I was actually, like, out of high school or even in high school and put all this knowledge that I have now and experience, and to work. That'd be crazy. But, so I do find it awesome when young kids who are teenagers start their own like little detailing business. There's a few out there that I've been seeing on social media recently, and I hope they do well. Like continue with it, and actually make it into like a real business. If you want to grow bigger, make it into an empire. If
yeah,
you really want to go big, go big. If you don't, keep it manageable, keep it small, keep it a family business. That's how all of these product companies like Turtle Wax and McGuire's, they all started like just little family businesses, not making much money. And they just, over the years, they expand and they just exploded. And now they are a brand. So if you can start young, start young. I don't want to disregard further education, university and college and all of that. But there's a time and place for that. Like, why do kids go there nowadays? If
yeah.
you're going to do that, take a technical course in business and marketing and put that to use in your detailing business. That's way more useful than just an average degree in whatever. Like I encourage young people to like get into service-based businesses. Like that's what runs this country is services, not just corporations and and goods and products and all
Well,
that sell, but
some
services.
someone asked me. Someone asked me, "Well, are you worried about these kids? Yeah. I said, "Well, I go, well, not really, but you got to think. I was that age when I started doing this."
Exactly. They got to start
So,
somewhere.
uh,
Yeah.
something. Part of me says, "I gotta go hire them."
Yeah. Yeah, like, I would want to go and help them, like, start like, sub them and, like, teach them, actually how to do it and, and benefit from it, like, have a mutual, you know benefit from it, but
Right,
some of
right.
those kids probably are just doing it, and then they'll go off to college or do whatever else they wanna
Yeah,
do. They don't see that it could actually be successful, you know,
yeah.
in a real
There's
business.
a I do collab with another solo operator out of Oakdale, California, and that's Tyler with Showtime.
Mm,
And him and I actually we're together on a detail on Thursday. So
nice.
the two of us, and it works beautiful. And the two of us will, bigger boats, wakeboard boats, RVs, etc. We'll
Cool.
team up and do a collaboration, and that's kind of been a good relationship for me, for stuff that him or I couldn't handle solo, and it
Yeah.
works beautiful. His customers, I respect that. His mine, if it's my
Yeah.
customer, respects that, and through that, I've met next door to him the PPF and tent guys. So, and that gives us a shot to invite our customers that want coatings.
Oh, yeah.
We have that too now, through that
Nice.
relationship. So everything's
Yeah.
relationships, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even with fellow detailers, like, I've created relationships with fellow detailers here. When we first started detailing, it was maybe, like, a year or 2 in, then I'm like I didn't have that fear of seeing other like, running into other detailers out in the world, because at first I had a fear of like, "Oh, I don't wanna go poach on their territory," type of thing. But
Right.
I learned later on, I'm like, "No, I would go up to them and introduce myself and, like, talk to them and make friends with them." And to this day, that there's, like, at least 3 or 4 detailers in the area that I know personally, and we share work sometimes. When one gets busy, we'll pass work off or whatever. So it's good to have relationships with other detailing businesses as well.
Yeah.
I've met one that like didn't want to have a relationship like that. He was just like wanted to do his own thing and didn't really pay me much attention. But I'm like, okay, no worries. Plenty of other
Was
ones.
was he rude to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know who I
Wow.
was. I didn't really know him, but I just saw him and I'd see his vehicle and stuff. But, some people just, I don't know, ego or arrogance gets the best of them and they just kinda brush you off type of thing. But that's just some people, but not everybody. Most of the guys that I met were awesome, and I still know them to this day and do stuff with them. So,
Well, when I, jumped back in 2020, um, I kind of looked around about, who are the detailers? Where are they? I was kind of worried
mm,
about stepping on toes and
yeah,
stuff, and one of them was up the hill a little bit, uh, from me, about 30 minutes up Highway 4. And I
mm.
won't say any names or anything, but I did call and say, "Hey, I saw your work, man. You do a great job. I'm thinking about jumping back in, and I did this in the '90s, and blah blah blah." And I did not get the response, the encouragement.
Oh,
In
oh,
fact,
no.
he was kind of all he hung up, and 20 minutes later called me back. What's your angle, man?
Whoa.
What's my angle? I was like, no, no, I actually, you don't understand, man. I'm not like normal people. I got Jesus in my heart. I was like, saw your work online. You're awesome, dude. And then
Yeah.
about 3 months after that, he called me back again, trying to hire me.
Trying to hire you?
Yeah, he tried
That's
to hire
interesting.
me. He's all, oh no, dude, you can polish. I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
polish, buddy. Happy you learned to putt.
Wow. That's so weird, though. That's like
Yeah, he
a
wanted to eliminate his competition.
yeah, exactly. Like, see, it's that type of thing that gets to me where it's like that people's ego and it really gets the best of them, and it makes them so suspicious. I'm like, "You're just trying to make friends. You're just trying to meet people," and they're like, "Who are you? What are you trying to do?" I'm like, "Look, man, there's literally hundreds of millions of people in this country. There's plenty of work to go around. You're not gonna get to everybody. Like, calm down.
Well, I know,
Just
and
put in your work."
I feel for him because he had
Yeah,
this goal. He was charging really high end and doing excellent work and doing
yeah.
coatings only when I first met him.
Mm.
But then when I started gaining momentum in the area, now that I'm seeing he's doing regular details.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had to abandon business model he had of coatings only and
Yep.
stuff.
Gotta
So
be a little humbled. A little humbled.
so I don't know if that was me or what, but
Mm.
I did go to training over in Hayward back in January. Sydney was there, and I went over for two
Oh,
days.
cool.
And I met a kid that was from Sonora, starting up in Sonora. His name is Bub, or Bub's Mobile Detailing. I actually sent him some work the other day. I was so busy. I was like, I know a kid that's up there by you. You want to call him, and I'm not being because the person didn't want to. I was booking for that second week, and he didn't want to wait.
Mm.
So I shot
Yeah.
him to Bub, and I have no problem doing that,
Yeah.
and trying to
Yeah.
help when I can. But right here
Definitely.
in my little town, I am a little bit nervous about kids going around doing hand washes.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it is interesting when we talked about, like, some of those struggles, but, I mean, it sounds like you just gotta keep playing that game, and finding, like, little angles and little things to be able to get people, and it's not like you're not trying to trick them or anything, you're just trying to find little ways to attract their attention. Like, "I'm right here, I do amazing work, like, come to me and I'll take care of you." Even though people see the money thing and they're like, "You're expensive, but you're good," type of thing.
Yeah,
That can it's like a double-edged sword. It's good because you build, like, this little, um, this reputation that you have, but then you may not be as busy as you wanna be, or maybe it's really hard to, like, grow and get bigger because you're in such a small area, so it's like you really just gotta stay. I don't wanna say plateaued, but you gotta stay at, like, a certain level, and you don't wanna go below it, but you can't really go above it either. You just gotta stay in that level where at least you're busy enough that you're making money, like
yeah. And
sustainable money.
as a solo operator, I have a lot of weaknesses, and I don't know if
Mhm,
it's my age or what, but my social media is not strong.
mhm.
I'm horrible at editing. I don't have a YouTube channel. Well, I do, but it's horrible, and and I do the best I can. I know it's necessary, and I do the best I can. But there's stuff I would like to do on that end of things that
Yeah.
I can't figure out how. It's just it's just not me. And
Mhm.
so I do feel like what you're saying that I've kind of at this plateau to where I work Tuesday through Saturday and I try to average $300 to $500 a day, one vehicle a day, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talk to these guys, oh, I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when I really dig in on them, well, what are you doing? And I flat out say, I want to fly down there and see what you're doing because you could help me increase my efficiency.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
hearing that, well, we don't even vacuum under the mats and we don't use a clay bar. I'm like, well, we're
Hmm.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I
you're
I I
you're
learned I learned a long time ago too that I would look at businesses like that, large shop-based businesses or even detailers that had multiple vans and things like that, that they were just a larger business, multiple employees, and they were a bigger business. On paper, they're making money. Their numbers are strong. They're making money, but there's a lot of other things um that we don't see behind the scenes. Lots of expenses. And when you have tons of employees and you're the boss, like you got to make sure to manage them all. And you got to maybe you want to hire a manager to manage it all and then you don't have to work at all. Like that's the goal. There's a lot of like detailers with larger businesses that are like you want to be able to not have to work and just hire people to work for you. It sounds good. It sounds good in the surface, but I know people who have done that and it's still a struggle. Like there's no 100% hands off the business. There's always a stress, there's always like a thing that you have to always think about because if
well,
somebody leaves, Your manager leaves. Now you're like, "Okay, well, now I gotta manage my people." Employees leave. Now I gotta find new employees. Not
Right.
everybody talks about that, like the actual cons of having a larger business with employees, and it's actually really scary to be that big because there's more to lose than
Right.
just us little guys that I'm like, if I'm not busy for a couple of weeks, I got savings that I can dip into, and I know it's going to ramp back up like it did for us this winter, and now we're busy again. Even
Right.
though I was, like, freaking out this winter, I'm like, "Man, we haven't worked in, like, almost 2 months," and I had to dip into savings. But
Yeah.
now we're busy again. But I didn't have employees, I didn't have any of that expense. It was just us, and we just kind of laid low, flew under the radar financially, and now we're back again. But big businesses don't have that luxury of doing that, and nobody really talks about that, at least not that I've heard.
Right. There
So
was some. No, Mary. Yeah, don't vacuum under the mats. Yeah, it doesn't use a clay bar either. But
that's
yeah,
terrible.
raised everything down with Geon wet coat. Didn't even clay the car.
Ah. Oh, that's bad.
So that's what I was gonna say. So from my original mentor in the '90s, from Chris Raynor, it was he instilled in me quality over quantity, and
Mhm,
so um, I'm wanting to just do one car a day, and I
mhm,
want to do the best I can. I don't want to
mhm.
leave anything undone in different packages. No, it's all or nothing.
Mhm.
You know, uh,
Yeah.
and the only differences are: am I going to polish and coat? You know,
Yeah.
that's going to increase
Yep.
the amount if we're going to go ceramic or not.
Yeah.
And other than that, I can't like do seats only and not the carpet or vice versa. It's and so I price 150 in, 150 out, or 200 in, 200 out on average, and making that a day, 6 days a week. Hey, I keep the doors open. I'm eating well, paying the bills. Am I,
Yep.
getting rich and buying a lake house? No, I still have an
Yeah.
8 minute walk to the lake. So I'm not
An
right on
8-minute
the
walk.
lake. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And it's just being humble and being
Yeah.
con and
That's it, content. That's a word that's not an American word, you
well,
know?
I've tried to grow, and I've tried to do these things where
Mhm.
and that's where it all goes back to where I always say, well, it was a good idea to try it, but was it a God idea for me?
Yeah.
And, being a YouTuber and doing this and that, they were all good ideas, but maybe it wasn't the best thing for my
Yeah.
for me personally. And
Yeah.
me, just one, I really feel, no joke, I do love detailing. And I actually love my customers, and I love their cars. Their
Mm.
cars become mine. And
Yeah.
sometimes I get a little bit mad at them when they, like, oh, you
Ah.
let walk back in there, Martin.
Oh, I know how that goes. Yep.
I
Yep.
told you not to go to the gas station car wash. Now
Yeah, or
look.
don't just rinse your vehicle down. Like, that's
Yeah, you gotta
terrible. Don't just rin
reupholster pillars.
Ah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
We see it all the time.
but they get it, and
Yeah.
just one person at a time here in a small town, and the word of mouth has just been fabulous. And then
Nice.
um, Sydney turned me on to the Nextdoor app, and I was like,
Mm.
I wonder if we have that here, and sure enough, there it was, and I got on there, and
Nice.
through Nextdoor and Google,
Yep.
getting the 5-star reviews on Google, and
Yeah.
ask every customer, can you please leave a review? And send them the link. Hey, this helps me out with the search algorithms, etc., etc. I,
Definitely.
I've never spent one dime on advertising. Not,
That's
not,
awesome.
not one dime.
That is awesome. That's another thing that a lot of detailers like us small guys struggle with. And I have experimented with it. I spent like over $3,000 within 3 months. Maybe it was almost $4,000 in 3 months. It was crazy. With actual Google Ads. Like I hired a company out of Seattle that was reputable, like, the other companies worked with them, and they did the whole Google ad thing for 3 months, and I got nothing. Like, I would get little calls here and there, questions and things, but nothing. Like, no legit jobs to pay that back. It was a complete loss of money. And the guy that I was working with there were saying, "Oh, your numbers look good here," and, like, they're showing me all their numbers on their side, but I'm like, "It's not translating to me at all." Like, I'm not seeing any profit, any money, any customers coming in, and I'm spending $4,000? Like, it's not it didn't work. It didn't work at all, so I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, maybe you need to do it for 6 months," and I'm like, "I don't think you're getting it." Like, we're a little tiny micro business.
Right.
Like, we do
Well,
not
well,
use
guys, Phil, and you guys listening, what works for me being small is when
Mm,
I get slow, no joke, go into the books, call customers, just call 'em, see
yeah,
how they're doing. How's the
yeah,
grandkids? Did you go on vacation? Next thing you
yep,
know, you're booked, and that works for me. That's what I do.
yeah,
I'll get the phone, I'll shoot texts.
yep,
Hey, it's been 6 months since oh yeah, yeah. By the way, do you have next week open? Sure, come on out. And
exactly. That's good
this,
to do, keeping the relationships fresh like that with your customers. Like, I'll do email campaigns, and I'll send out texts to my customers, and so it's like that type of stuff is what us little guys are just gonna have to do. It's just gonna be a little bit of a struggle. It's gonna take more legwork to actually get in touch with those customers and not just rely on ads, because they just don't work for us little guys. At least I haven't seen it.
I think the new detailers that jump in and they want to do it cheap. You're selling yourself short.
Mm,
There's a mentality of you get what you pay for. And if
definitely.
you're more than someone else, they want to know why. What
Yeah. Yeah.
what
I've
are
had
you
those
going to deliver
questions.
that's so much better?
Yeah.
And if you have the confidence to deliver, you know, um, charge more.
Mhm.
Not don't try to come in cheap.
Yeah.
You're going to get burnt out if you are working at a price that you're unhappy making. That's going to lead
Exactly.
to burnout, and you're going to, end up in a truck.
Mhm.
Driving a big rig.
Yeah. No, that is definitely true. That is definitely true. We it took us years to, like, grow to be able to charge what we needed to charge. It took a long time, like a few years to finally build up, and we kept bumping up the prices and bumping up the prices until they hit this plateau that was good. I think we were charging like 250 to 275 for our full details, and we were doing 2 of those a day, 3 to 4 days a week, and it was consistent for years and years and years like that. I tried raising it up, and then business slowed down. I'm like, "Ah, okay, let me just stay put with this price," and it
Huh,
worked.
huh.
Now we've raised it. I mean, we've almost doubled those prices since then, but we just had to gradually raise the price until it hit a point where we were so busy and making finally, like, good money. And we didn't go cheaper, and we tried to go a little bit more expensive. We just try to balance it out. It's like surfing that wave. Oh, nice. Detail life. Nice.
Well, I saw Detailed Grandma chimed in, so
Yeah, yeah. Yep, that's true. Yeah,
I just wanted to say that I loved her on here, and I went on and ordered a shirt,
nice. Now
and
see,
I was
that's another
encouraged
real
by that.
person.
I was really yes, that was an encouraging podcast for me to watch. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to do here is, like, I want I don't wanna say average people because, to be honest, like, you guys are not average in any way, but I mean those who fly under the radar. Like, they're not on YouTube, they're not on social media all the time, they're not like the big gurus, you know? I'd love to have guys like I tried to get Mike Phillips on here. I actually have to call him, but I at least have, like, a connection to Mike Phillips from Dr. Beasley's, who
Mhm.
used to be with Auto Geek. Like, I have
Man,
some
old school
connections.
McGuire's, dude.
Oh,
When
yeah.
Mike
You
Phillips,
know?
I think old school McGuire's.
Totally. Like, I have some connections, and I wanna have them come in, but I want, like, normal I shouldn't say normal. It's like I don't wanna say those terms derogatorily, but
Us
I want
grunts.
yeah, like me, like I'm average normal dude, like I'm not the big guru guy,
Well,
out
so
there.
I went to I when I first jumped back in 2020 and first met Levi Gates, I literally, I was still at American Airlines. In fact, I still fly for free, so be careful. I can just jump on a plane and be on your porch in like
Nice.
40 hours,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I did that with TRCMA one year. I just jumped on the plane and said, "I'm on the way. I'll see you tomorrow." And they were like, "What?" And
Nice,
I went out for the PNS session,
nice.
um, and showed up. And Levi and I had been emailing and texting back and forth months before that. And when I went to the dinner that night, there was everybody was at the
Mm,
table. You name it. I mean, all of PNS, Jason Rose, Dylan, some others.
yeah,
Sid was there, and I don't know why, but I pulled a I just something in me during it got kind of quiet. There was a moment, and I went, you know, and I stood up, and big old it was like the Last Supper setting.
yeah,
And I forget exactly what I said, but I thanked every one of them for influencing me and what they had meant to me and
mhm,
my business, and I let them know, yeah, I'm all by myself and a sole operator, and I'm in different driveways every day trying to make you guys proud and trying to keep
yeah,
my customers happy. And you know what? Jason Rose stood up and he said, "Don't, no, 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 no. Don't thank us. Thank you. Thank you. You're why we're here. You're why, we do what we do." And I was
that's
like, wow,
nice.
that was kind of comforting to say. And then they all agreed. And it was just this moment where,
Yeah,
and I think at that moment, I got a lot of favor with certain individuals there. And those relationships have continued and has helped me
yeah,
tremendously on learning just new, processes and products and especially the area of efficiency. But when
yeah,
Jason said, I was like, wow, he's right. And I felt just, appreciated the grunt that felt appreciated.
yeah.
So,
That's
but
really
anyhow, I
awesome.
don't know why I brought that up, but I just something you said made me think of that moment.
Yeah. Well, it's people like Jason Rose and Mike Phillips and so many others, Ivan and like people that I've watched over the years that I had the privilege of actually like meeting and now have a relationship with. Like it's a little surreal, when we meet those people that we learned from, it is kind of like a celebrity status type of thing. But they're so many of them are very, very humble. They know that they've helped many people and they're like in the thick of it. They're like the celebrities of the detailing community. But all of the ones that I've met have been very, very humble, and it's awesome to be able to meet people like that.
Yes.
And to have them like in our professional lives. It's so cool. It's amazing. And we have YouTube and social media and things like that to thank for it too. That connected us all in this way. So that's just awesome. And that's why I'm doing these podcasts too is I want the little guy. I want the little guys to meet each other, and to learn from each other and to grow,
Well,
because
you talk about a little guy. I was, 19 with a little red wagon going around in a condo complex and
yeah.
didn't even know mobile detailing was a thing. Didn't even know there was a whole industry out there. And,
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. I've talked to a couple of detailers like that were like they thought they invented mobile detailing because they started doing it. I'm like, "No, it's been there for a while, but,
yeah.
it wasn't as popular. It just wasn't as popular." But that is really cool.
As what I was doing gained ground, that brought Chris Raynor forward to me at youth group, you know,
Yeah.
and he said, I heard you're doing detailing. And I said, yeah, I see your van. You're a real detailer. That's what I told him. You're a real
Yeah.
detailer. And that's when I told him I waxed this car, but the customer still said it felt rough. Did you clay it? What's a clay bar?
Yeah. And that's what started it all. Like,
Yeah, that started it
that was
all. It's
going
like,
down your
yeah.
rabbit hole.
And the next thing you know, uh, I was helping him on bigger jobs and stuff, and it worked. We never stepped on each other's toes
Yeah.
and everything. And back then we had a great there was a guy Randy that worked for Pro. And I know Pro is an older, old school, but man,
Mm.
some of the products are killer. Pro Wax USA.
Yep.
And we had a guy mobily. And he's passed away. Rest in peace, Randy. And he's passed away now, but we used to have him, and we could just call him if we ran out of something or got stuck on something. Here would come Randy in the van, you know, and pulling up, and oh, I can help you out. And he had a product for this and that, and was teaching us about new stuff, and it was awesome. And
Nice.
I get back into it, and there's no Randy to call anymore. It's like, when, oh, I gotta go to YouTube.
Ah, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. That's where all of us are gonna go to learn, and I mean, that's to be honest, that's how I learned a lot of things, and I tell people just research it and then just practice. You have to practice, you have to experience stuff. You can't just ask questions 'cause sometimes I'll have people that'll ask a lot of questions, and I'm like, "I think they're just asking questions. I don't think they're going out and, like, testing things first." You need to do that. Like, ask a couple of questions, learn some stuff, basics, go out and do it. And then when you run into problems, you're like, "Oh, okay, try to problem solve, but if you can't figure it out, okay, now come back, ask some more questions, and then go back and keep practicing." Like, that's the name of the game. You gotta do that. You can't just continue to watch stuff. You gotta go out and, actually get your hands dirty and practice.
My
That'll make you better.
my biggest question is um, where do I go from here, and how do I get bigger? Do I want to eventually
Yeah.
get to a shop and etc. And there's so much I don't know about the business end.
Mhm.
Uh, I do have an excellent accountant that helps me with my books and the taxes,
Nice.
etc., and everything. But honestly, I'm a decent little detailer, but I'm horrible about the paperwork and the business and social media and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
I I feel sometimes stuck at this plateau, because of what I don't know.
Mhm.
And so that sometimes to me can be a little bit frustrating, because as I get older, I realize. You know, it'd be nice to be a little bigger and have a couple employees where I'm not doing all the work. I'm just,
Right.
I'm the one shaking hands and kissing the babies, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and so I'm
think
starting to think about that, and
Yep.
how to incorporate that into what I got going on here in little
That's
old
true.
Metropolis, California.
Yeah, I think everybody will have to make that decision on their own, Like, that's not something that you can get, um, 100% solid advice from anybody because everybody is so different. There might be some experiences that are like, "Okay, your situation is very close to mine, and you did this, this, and this. Maybe I can do the same type of thing." And that's okay, that's good to do. But, yeah, it all just comes down to figuring out your own expenses and where you wanna be financially, I guess, and how much freedom do you want? How much freedom do you need? How much stuff do you want? How much stuff do you need? That type of thing, Everybody's gotta answer, like, to themselves when it comes to that, or to their families, I guess.
Yeah, well, Saturday that generator broke down
Mm,
right on the job.
mm,
I already filled the buckets, put the soap in, ready to start the wheels. Next thing you know, the generator starts acting up. Well, holy moly, what am
uh,
I going to do? It was like,
yeah,
so the customers all, well, you could just use our water and power. I'm like, it's a Jeep. I'm not wanting to use. I was a little bit ticked off that was happened, and
mhm,
I'm leaving. I'm going home. If you want this thing done, you know, bring it to me. She's like, okay. So they followed me back to my house, and I did it here at the house. And then today I got out and worked on that generator, and I smell
Wow.
like carbon dioxide of oil all.
Oh,
And
man.
I just went in and changed the oil, cleaned the spark plug, the air filter, and I put a little bit of that stable
Oh,
ethanol
yeah.
treatment in the
Yep.
gas, let it run a while, and it quit. That's what it was doing. It was surging. It was roar, roar, roar.
Yeah.
Well, under load, it would cause it to die.
Yep.
And so, and this generator is the Pulsar 400BN.
Hmm.
So, and it's new. It has less than 100 hours. I'm like, what?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, I think I fixed it. So,
Oh, good.
yeah, I'm curious to get out, and I gotta wash the turkey civic. So, and
Man.
try to polish out turkey scratches, and
Yeah. Ugh.
so
Yeah, I'm sure all of us mobile guys have stories like that. We've had generators die on us in mid job, vacuums die on us mid job, steamers die on us mid job, like all that stuff. Pressure washers break, hoses break, like it's been crazy, dealing with that type of stuff. So yeah, I
I
learned a long time ago. I had to have extras of things like on hand. So
taking you guys out too, just in case you want to see the setup.
oh, okay, cool, cool. Yeah, and after this, we're
So
gonna
it's a
wrap it
little,
up.
yeah, it's a little bit in shambles right now because its
Ooh, nice.
generator's out, and I've been working on it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, there's water, power, air, all right there. Don't know if
Nice.
you guys can see that or not.
Yep,
And
yep,
then
we
I
can.
put it under the tunnel cover here.
It's so nice that everything is so compact.
And then, yeah, and then there's the tank. And
Nice.
then I'm trying to bear with me as I open this up to show you. But then
Wow.
air compressors up underneath there. There's a little space right there for my um, buckets and vacuum,
Nice.
everything there. But then here we come, and boom.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so
That's
we come
so
in,
cool.
and it got a polisher holder that holds Mrs. Rupes. It's my Italian girlfriend hanging there. And then a foam pad holder. Then I keep my carpet stuff there in that bottle rack. That's all my carpet trio within fabric guard,
Yep.
brush holder, and then originally Gion, the this was the second truck he had done, and the first one he went up and covered the window completely. And I
Oh,
said, "Well,
yeah.
I pull a boat. I don't want to do that." So he
Yeah.
came up with cutting it short and just making a little nice little towel rack there.
Nice.
So I got my towel rack in the
That's a
back.
really nice setup in the back. I like that.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. So and it's 50 gallons, and it's enough for one car.
Yeah.
I use it gets pretty low if the carpeted fender wells. It could get pretty low. And
Oh,
then I
yeah.
got this is my shop here, and then see I have this big sun cell.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
So I put the sun cell there, and
Nice.
that way I can get the bigger trucks because I do a lot of big trucks,
Yeah.
and being in this demographic here in the mountains, and so they just don't fit under the easy up, and then the
Yep.
turkey scratches.
Oh,
They're just
man.
it's just
Whoa.
yeah, they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the way down the whole side. I don't know if you can see that
I
or
could see
not.
oh, yeah, I could see there's the reflection, it's so glossy, but I can see those imperfections right there. Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, it's glossy because of G Technique, and that
Yeah, I
turkey
know.
thought he was seeing himself. You
Wow.
know, so yeah, he did a number on that. It is what it is, and whoops, I
Yeah.
thought I flipped. Did I? No, didn't flip.
Oh, it didn't flip yet.
Let's flip it here. Why is
Oh, it's not switching. I don't know why.
there now? It finally did.
Okay, cool.
So anyhow, so that people just go crazy about that setup. But in
Yeah.
all honesty, if I had to do it again, I mean, I wanted a Ralda setup.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mind the money, but and I liked what he did with a low profile setup.
Mhm.
So couldn't just figure out, the being him on the East Coast, me on the West Coast,
I know. I
you
know.
know. And so I did. I went with what I did, and I'm happy with it. But I probably should have went down south to H2O
Mm.
and spent a little bit more money and got it a little bit different setup. I can run one thing at a time. Like, come on,
Yeah.
like it's got to be a way to, like when I'm vacuuming and I'm trying to use air at the same time. Sometimes the generator kind of cutting in and
Yeah.
out.
It can't handle both. That's too much power that's drawing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
maybe
an
you'll
issue that
yeah.
needs to be fixed and stuff. But I've kind of learned to do it so it doesn't, kill the generator. And I
Yeah.
can vacuum and use the air, but you just got to do it in little sections at a time.
Yeah.
No longer can I blow the whole car.
Yeah,
So I can
exactly.
blow an area, then vacuum, blow an area, then vacuum,
Yep.
and it's good. Yeah, life's been good detailing,
That's
working for
good.
myself.
Yeah. And I'm sure that setup will change in the next couple of years anyway. Like it always did for me. I would always change something cuz something would change within me and I'm like, I need to be more efficient. I learned something, I need to change this. I need more air. I need a, bigger generator. I need this, I need that. And stuff would just grow over time and then it would become more efficient over time. But that's
Well,
just kind
how
of a
long were
learning
you in the
process.
trailer?
I was only in the trailer for maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But most of it was like that old Ford Explorer that we had and then the old like Ford F-250 big van and then it was like the little Astro van was the very first setup that we had. So, we didn't really have the greatest of setups until the trailer. Like, the trailer was the most efficient and the best setup we ever had, mobile setup. But, yeah, I only had it for a
Well, when
few
I first
years.
found you, you were in the trailer. When I first
Wow,
found
yeah. That
you.
was
Yeah.
towards the end of our mobile career.
Yeah.
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 Everything else was out of, like, the old Astro van or the old white F-250 big work van, basically.
Well, I'm so jealous you have a garage. You saw my garage. It's like my buddy calls it the Smurf garage. I can't even get my Civic in there. It's like, so that's why I did the sun sale.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
must
mean,
be nice, Phil, to be in there,
it is now.
filming.
It is now, man. I mean, it was like 10 years of mobile and all of that. I mean, we had the little garage in our first place, our first house that we rented that actually had a garage, but man, ever since this transition, it has been nice. I've been very fortunate to be in this situation now. But if I ever need to, I'm like, hey, if ever I need calls that I have to go back mobile, I know where to start. I know what to do now, but I almost came to that conclusion. I'm like, maybe I should do mobile again and then talk myself out of it.
Really?
But you never know. You never know. I mean, if things change, I I would like to sub out like one person who could do it, but I don't know how to do that properly where he's making money or and I'm making money. Like that's something that's a challenge for me. Later on in life, like I'm gonna have to maybe hire someone. I don't know. So that's gonna be a learning process for me later on in life too. So
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes. But I'm gonna wrap it up now where it's been over an hour here, and I'm sure we we have more to talk about. I'll probably have to have you back on and talk about some more stories.
That'd be
Um,
great. My phone battery is going to last much longer anyhow.
I
So,
know, I know. I was thinking about that. If you're on your phone, like, oh, you
yeah,
might
I
need
got a
to.
10% warning like 5 minutes ago.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. Well, thank you, Andy, for coming on the podcast. It was awesome chatting with you and sharing some stories.
Yeah, it was good chatting and catching up, Phil, and such an honor. Thanks for having me, and
Yeah,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
the time to be on.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank everyone in the comments, those who are
Yeah,
watching. And
I hope you guys go back and listen to the turkey story.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm going to have these videos, probably unpublished right now, and I'm going to download them. It takes like a day or 2 to actually download the video, or for YouTube to allow me to download the video, and then I'll edit it, and I'll put it out like a normal video, and then everybody will be able to get to see the entire thing. So, all right, everybody have a good night. Andy, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, buddy. Bye.